Hi guys, this is Frenchie, and today we're gonna talk about how you're gonna nail your first grade. This video is dedicated for everyone that just want to have a quick view of the color page and not necessarily want to deep dive into Davinci Resolve. I think I explained it in the tutorial, but if, for example, you have like the whole post-production to create, then I hope this video is gonna help you because it's gonna make your process way quicker. Also, I listened to you guys. I bought a new microphone and look at it. My God, this is so funky because it changed it changed color when I'm speaking, so it's quite good. It's nice. I look like a streamer actually. I hope then my voice is way better. I hope then your ears are not being so molested now. I leave you with the tutorial and I see you next week. See you. Okay guys, so today we're gonna see how to nail your first grade together. This tutorial won't be a run through inside the color page of Davinci Resolve. I'm gonna prepare a bigger video and a deeper video about the features on the color page. I would say I'm gonna run through maybe the node trees, how to set your project settings, how to maybe deliver to your client. So this will be on another video. This video is only dedicated on nailing your first grade and fast. I think, this video would be addressed to people that, for example, took a job with a production house or an artist or an independent and has to do the whole post, which is offline editing, color, and online editing. So I just want to bring a solution for these people of how you can go fast grading your footage without really knowing the software. Let's just jump right in. We're gonna start with setting our color management. What is nice with Resolve is recently they put a feature where the software can guess what is the codec that you use and in which camera it comes from. So you can use this feature that is called Davinci YRGB Color Manage because it will recognize which camera was shot the shot. Wow, my English, unbelievable. I promise I'm good in English. I try to study this language so many times and I'm still doing these nice sentences. So yeah, we are in the color processing mode in SDR. SDR is actually the Rec 709 color space that is the standard color space. So I guess if you have to deliver a project, it's gonna be in this color space most of the time. If it goes in internet, if it goes in TVCs, most likely it's gonna be SDR. HDR only apply on pretty minor, for the moment, minor projects because even for me, it's very rare when I have HDR projects. So you just set the color processing mode on SDR and the output color space on SDR Rec 709. Okay, so you can observe that right now, I'm just gonna close the gallery. You can observe that right now we start to have color on the footage. So the software recognized that this footage comes from red. Also you have an indicative here. So that's nice. We have a nice base already color managed. This footage comes from ARRI and the software recognized the color space and applied the Rec 709 look. And this footage actually comes from SONY, A7S3. But as you can see, the software haven't recognized the color the color space of it. So if you have this that happen, you know, on your timeline, what you can do is go on the shot, right click, and then select input color space and go to the input color space that it has normally. For this one, as it's a A7S3, it was shot on S-Log3 with a gamut that is called S-Gamut3. So we're just gonna select S-Gamut3, S-Log3. So, and then you have your footage already colored in Rec 709. So these colors are pretty nice to see, but we say like it's a nice base. You can tweak your footage around. So on this footage, let's say you have to deliver a video and you want a clean grade. So clean grade, as I explained in my previous video, is a grade where everything is contained. You can separate the character from the background. You can identify colors quite easily without any spills of color. So what we will do, to nail our first grade is to make this image already, they are already looking good, but like looking better. So how I'm gonna start is I'm gonna create a parallel node. So to create a parallel node, I select option P, but if you want to do it, right click, you just right click, add a node and add parallel. Okay, so all the upper nodes will be my primaries, all the down, how you call that in English? Like all the lower nodes are secondaries. For my primaries, I'm just gonna start with my balance. Should I be organized, guys? Maybe I should be organized for you. Normally I'm not an organized girl, but for you I'm organized. So we're gonna start by the balance. The balance would be like how you balance your image by leaf gamma gain. Okay? I'm gonna play with my offset. So right now I'm turning my offset. I don't want, so when I was at the beginning like this, I actually don't want really my shadows to be crushed. So that's why I'm using my offset. It's just like because I'm raising my overall image. So I go up with my offset. Okay. Very nice. If you want to be sure that like your blacks are not crushed, you can see the scopes. So if you see my mouse here, you can see the scopes here. And technically I like to observe this with waveform. So this waveform here. You can see at the bottom, nothing is really touching instead of this corner, but like for all the shadows that are on the image, nothing is going over 0. So this is what we want to have, like details actually in the shadows. So this balance is actually pretty good already for me. So now we're gonna try to, I'm gonna just like take some notes, sorry. So now we're gonna try to balance it in terms of temperature and in terms of tint, okay? So this one would be temp, okay? So here is my temp. I find the image a bit warm for something clean, so I'm just gonna go a bit lower in terms of warmth and go to something a bit colder to have like just a nice separation. And let's see like if I play with, yes. So I'm just adding a bit of magenta with my tint just to put the skin tones already in the right direction. To verify your skin tone, you go to your scopes here, if you see, and you take your vector scope. Your vector scope, if you want to verify the skin, you go to this settings, and you put your show skin tone indicator. Okay. So here my skin tone is actually a bit yellow for my vector scope. What I can do is going to my secondaries here and taking my color wrapper. I like color wrapper is just because I'm quite lazy. So what is nice with color wrapper is I can just change my hue and my saturation in just one tool. So that's why I use it. Otherwise, like, you can use the curves that I maybe can show you in the other shot. You can use this, and I think that's actually okay. But I prefer this tool because then I can go very fast. So here, if you see on the scope, so I'm just tweaking the skin. If you see, like, my skin is over here. So then I take my color that is relative to skin, and I'm gonna go towards the vector scope line, and I kind of feel that it's good enough for me, and I would just let it like that. I created this node. I'm just gonna put not HDR mode, sorry. I'm just gonna put a label saying HDR, because on this shot I don't find the need to use the HDR wheels, but I'm using the HDR wheels if the cinematography is not as contained. So this is normally how I do my node tree. This would be actually the skin like that, and then after all my nodes here, I can create a vignette to make my talent pop out a bit more. I like large vignettes. Some people like also a tighter vignette, so it really depends on your preference. Here in my curves, I'm here. In my curves, I'm clicking. Oh my god. I'm clicking these 3 dots and selecting editable spline, editable splines. Yes. I'm just gonna raise a bit to have my talent a bit more lit, and add a new node outside, and put it down. So what does it do? I'm going to show you a bit more like that. Okay. So what does it do is, this is before, this is after. So it helps your viewer to get their focus on the main talent. So if I don't put it, the image is fine, you know, like I would also output it like this, but the vignette on this case is bringing a bit more depth to the image and help the viewer to just focus on her. So this is how I would do. So now we're gonna go on we're gonna go on the ARRI one. So let's just copy and paste up, copy and paste everything. Okay, because so then like we have balance, temp, HDR, skin, that's why. Okay, so here in my, we're gonna start with the balance. Balance, if you remember, we're gonna put the waveform. If you remember, it's mostly my offset, and after I can tweak it with my gain and lift gamma. So now I just raise my offset. I'm gonna just create a bit more contrast with my lift. And my gamma, I just up my gamma a bit. Sorry, my gain, and now my gamma. Okay, so we have a nice, I think, exposure for this guy. Temperature, let's see how it goes. I would go a bit colder on this one also. A bit colder. A bit of magenta just for his skin. Okay, and for the skin, let's go back to our vector scope. And actually the skin is in the right realm, we can see. Let me see, but I think I don't need to tweak the skin. I'm just gonna saturate him a bit more, that's all. Yeah, and we can use on this shot the HDR because I kind of feel like the light is a bit harsh. Not really harsh, but like if you see like all the bits behind him, it's just like popping a bit too much. So we go to our HDR palette here. We go to light and we tone it down. Not too much, just a tiny bit. So if you see, this is before. This is after. This is very subtle, but I think this is nice. And then like, as we've done before, we can bring him up. So to create the vignette, I go to this tool here, click this window, and then like just shape my window around him. Always like put the softness as much as possible. And then like go to your curves, take this and up there. Okay, now this one, and you go down. Then you have a nice, let's see, a bit bigger. Then you have a nice vignette, if you see. Okay, so now we can go to this footage. So this footage is a bit different from these two before because now we are a bit more low-key. I'm just gonna copy and paste just like to have the node tree, and we're gonna do it again. So then like we have 3 examples. So I'm gonna go to my wheels and do my balance. So let me check my waveform. Okay, so now I want to have a bit more exposure. Okay, now that my offset is set, I go to my lift, I go down to create contrast. I go to my gain, I go up, create more contrast. Okay, and then my gamma, see, yes, something like that. Okay, now let's see in temperature. I actually feel like they are kind of okay. Let's see if when I go to one side or one side is doing something. I would say like maybe actually they don't need. I would put more magenta because I kind of feel the skins are a bit greenish. So I just put a bit more magenta. And we're gonna go to our skins. So let's check our vector scope. So the skins, if you see, are here. So it's kind of in the right environment, but we're just gonna go a bit closer. And we can just like go a bit more saturated. Okay, that's good. And I kind of feel like for my own taste, I want to try to get a bit more color boost. So I'm just like gonna create a node before the skin. So if you want to do it by click is add a node, add a serial node before, for example. If you want to do by keyboard, it's Shift S, yeah. Okay, so I'm just gonna put some color boost. So if you see, color boost is here. We're gonna go just like at 5. Now we're gonna do the vignette here. I'm punching my microphone with my mouse, my god. We're gonna do the vignette. Ta-da-da. And I want actually the main talent here to pop out a bit more. So I'm just gonna go, I need my waveform for that. I'm just gonna go, you know, like try to feel it, but not too overexposed like that. I'm just gonna try to go somewhere here. Okay, and then the outside one, I'm just gonna go down to have a nice vignette. Okay, so I think we are there actually. If you see a swatch, we have before the vignette and after the vignette. I like vignettes. You can tell I like vignettes. So this is how you do a quick grade where you are actually almost sure that you won't like have a hard time to grade your footages. I hope it helped. I just want you to remember, like, you have to manage your timeline first with your color processing of SDR, and after you can do your tweaks around. If you start with the log straight away and try like to rise up the saturation and do your adjustments and settings around, I don't think it will make this results, because you will guess actually what the log is instead of interpreting mathematically what the log is. Okay, so I hope everything was clear. Let me know if you need more explanations, or if you want actually me to get started on this beginner video where I'm gonna do a run through of all the features in the color page. Sorry. And yeah, I see you next week for a new video. Bye. And so yeah, I come back at the end to just say to you that don't forget to subscribe and ask any question in the comments. I would be glad like to answer those. So yeah guys, I hope like you had a great time, and see you again.